Hello and welcome back to a crazy challenge I have made for myself. I have around 40 books on my bookshelf that I have not read yet. They've been there, some have been there for a while, some of them are new. But to feel better about myself, I want to start getting through some of my physical TBR books. That being said, I was like, oh, maybe you can try to get through at least most of them by the end of this year. There's 15 weeks left in this year, and I've kind of been in a reading slump, so this is not also helping everything. But I'm thinking if I can read around 3 books in a week for 15 weeks, I can get through most of my physical TBR list. So please come with me on this journey as we try to read most of our physical TBR lists. We are starting our first week off strong. I am tackling my books that I put on my September TBR list. So on Sunday, I finished Nettle Bone by T. Kingfisher, which loved. I think I rated this a 3.75 star. Wasn't like the best book I've ever read, but I enjoyed it and I had a fun time reading it. I think it's a cozy fantasy. There are some stakes to it. It does get a little I don't say gory, but there is a bit of some spooky stuff. It follows a princess, the youngest princess in this kingdom. Her oldest sister, gets married off to the prince in their rival kingdom because if they do not, they will go to war with each other. And her older sister ends up dying mysteriously, which leads to her middle sister also getting married to the prince. And she's having lots of pregnancies. Like she had a kid, it was a girl. The girl ended up dying. Her sister comes to visit her. She notices her sister is a little off and is like, "Oh, he's not treating you right. Let me help you." And she's like, "I got to do what I got to do for my country," which queen, but at the same time, honey, let's get you some help. So main character decides, listen, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get her out of there. So it becomes into this little D&D quest adventure where there's a dust witch, love her. She's got a little demon hen, amazing. There's a bone dog, what more can you ask for? They go to the goblin market. She meets a love interest, which I didn't think I needed some romance. I didn't think T. Kingfisher could give me some romance, some yearning. And she did, and I loved it. And I ate it up because it's like a subplot, and I'm here for that. There's a godmother who turns out is cursing people and not actually, wishing them well in life. And it's a great little adventure, and they're all and getting together to come and kill this prince slash king to save her sister. And it was a great adventure book. I loved it. Very short, very sweet. You can get right through it. Moving on, I just started. It is currently Tuesday, and I just started slash picked up again The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I tried reading this earlier this year and it was just not the right time for me. The vibes weren't there. There's a lot of characters in this book and the timeline goes back and forth, so sometimes it can be a little hard to figure out where we are, what we're doing, what the characters are doing, who's who. So it took me a while. Although I will say, I thought I was past part 1 and I thought I was on part 2 when I picked this up. I was not. I was a little bit before part 1 finished. But I'm currently on part 3. I'm whizzing through this. I'm having a good time. I will say, I thought about making a video kind of connecting all the characters and explaining the characters a little bit in the timeline to make this a little bit more digestible because she's a big chunk and she'd be going back and forth. So let me know if you want that. But I'm going to get back to reading this. Hello, update. It is Wednesday morning and I ended up staying up until 11:30 last night just going through this book. I'm on the last part or section in this book and I think I can finish it today. Crazy. This book brought me out of my reading slump. I've been in such a funk and I've just been flying through this almost 500-page book, which love that for me. So I'll let you know how I feel about it because right now there's a lot going on and I'm concerned at how this is going to end
because I really don't want it to end a few ways, and if that's how it's gonna end, I don't know, we'll see. Hi, it's Thursday morning, and this is a sad update. I did not even touch the book yesterday like I said I was. I was gonna finish the book yesterday. Trust me, I wanted to and I had plans. I just never got around to doing them. Yesterday I filmed a video and it had a lot of footage and I was trying to edit it and my editing software crashed not once, not twice, but now currently 3 times. We're gonna hope that I really want to get through this book today because I'm losing days on reading another book. Technically I am reading another book. It's a NetGalley book and it's on my phone, so that doesn't really count because it's not my physical TBR, but this is like extras, just little add-ons. But yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to do today, and hopefully finishing this book is one of them. It's Friday morning and I have still yet to finish the book. I got so busy yesterday that I just did not finish it. I stayed up until like 3 doing other things. So, and this morning I've been cleaning, been wrapping presents. We're about to leave. Well, we're not about to leave. I still have a few hours, but I have to pack and everything, so I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be able to get to the book. And you know what else? You know, Libby and Cloud Library, they always come at the wrong times. You forget you put things on hold because they're like, oh, it's gonna be like 3-4 months because there's like 20 other people in line with you. And it's like, okay, great. I got a notification today being like, hey, your hold came in. And I'm like, no, I already have too much to read, please. So it's okay, we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna power through. Hopefully maybe I can finish this before we leave and I can pick another book so I can take it with us. We'll see. I don't know, the week is gonna be pretty packed, so I'm not expecting to read that much. So, I'm already failing week 1. It's okay, it's okay. Reading's fun. You don't need to be upset and stress yourself out about reading. It's supposed to be fun. So, update. I did finish The God of the Woods. I finished it Friday night. Let me tell you, I don't know if it's because I lost the momentum of reading this book throughout the week because I got busy, or if the ending is just kind of a letdown, but I was really enjoying this book. I was sucked into it. I was like, ooh, what is happening? What's going on with these people? There's just an array of characters. I will say I gave this 4 stars. It was gonna be a 5, and then the ending was just kind of, I don't know, I want to say it was a letdown, but it was kind of like, there's like almost 500 pages of this, and for it to just kind of end that way was a little like, oh, okay. I feel like it was giving us a lot. The atmosphere was there, the setting, the characters, the mystery, the kind of like red herrings of some characters, and following along, you're like, okay, let me figure out like who's doing this. What are we thinking? This would be such a good book to have like a book club or like a peer reading thing, and like y'all reading at the same time and like giving like answers and being like, okay, who do you think? Okay, we're on this chapter, like what do we think? I saw some of the ending coming. It was an ending that was fine. I'm not mad about it, but I'm also like, was not expecting it to turn this way. So, did enjoy. I wanted more from her from the ending. To read all of this and just get to that is just like, but I did enjoy it, and it's wonderful writing. I know she has another book out that I might be reading. I might check into that to see what that's about, because her writing style is great, and the characters and like the world build up and like going back and forth to like kind of piece together the story. Wonderful job. Love that. But it's just like, I just wanted more from you. Also, I'm not sure if I gave the synopsis for this book. This is set in the 70s, New York, in the mountains. There is a summer camp that this family has owned for forever, and the family who owns it also lives there during the summer. And a few years back, their son went missing during the summer, not at the camp, but like just in the vicinity, and was never found. So there's mystery to that. Their daughter now is attending this camp, and she ends up going missing. So it kind of takes you on the hunt to find the daughter, but it also delves into the son's case and how it came about and how it happened and what was the conclusions of that and how they're comparing it to the new case that just came out with their daughter. There's also some side characters that are new and they show up, and there's so many red herrings and like just drama and gossip that happen that you're like, oh, didn't see that coming. Oof, yikes. It's real. I enjoyed. Just wanted some more from her at the ending. But really good book. I would recommend if you want a nice like mystery investigative set in the 70s detective story. This is good for you. This is good. If you're looking for like a summer camp vibe, it's set in summer camp. There are some summer camp vibes, but for the most part, like I wouldn't. If you're like, I want to read a book about a summer camp murder, I wouldn't really say that it doesn't give the vibes of that more. So because it's kind of all over the place. So that was 2 books that I read this week. Technically, I did read a 3rd one. It's a NetGalley book though, so it's an e-reader. So I'm not counting that as my TBR. So technically, I only read 2 this week, which means I'm a little bit behind.
We are on to week 2. Week 2, I'm thinking I'm going to get a little bit more reading done because I also am going out of town this weekend, but I am not driving and it's a really long car ride, so maybe I'll read some books on the trip up. But that being said, a few days ago, I put out a video being like, hey, I'm trying to do this. What is a great way to go about reading TBR? And I think the easiest for me currently is just to do a TBR jar and just kind of pull books out whenever I finish. I'm not limiting myself to this because October's coming up, and if I want to read a spooky book and I don't pull it, then I'm just gonna grab it and pull it because I feel like that'll be the easiest way. And reading's supposed to be fun, and if I start like not having fun, then what is the point of reading that? I made this and I color coded it to maybe help with weeding out some of my books. So green are the books that I want to read, not very badly, but I've been meaning to read them and I need to get to them, and I would probably enjoy reading them. The blue are books that are on my TBR shelves that I probably got a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll read this. This sounds good. And I just haven't picked them up. So it's not that I don't want to read them, but it's also ones that maybe aren't on the top of my list. And the pink are probably going to be my DNF books, sadly. These are the books that I was in like mood reading months ago. I have some Western books because for the beginning of this year, I was like, I really want to read Western stuff. I have some books that were summer themed, that summer's over, so do I really want to read summer right now? And I also have books that maybe I tried reading and I just couldn't read them at the time. The mood wasn't there, maybe the vibes weren't there. And so they're back on my list. So this is how we're going to go about this. That being said, I'm going to pull. I'm going to hope that I get a pink one, and preferably nothing that's in a series, because series with me is if I read the first book, I'm going to want to read all the books if they're out, because I hate doing that. But that's not good for this, because 1, I'd have to go get a book. I'm on a book buying ban, can't have that. And then 2, I'd have to go to the library and get it. And it's like, that's not bad, but I got to read these first before I start adding to what I need to read. So we're hoping for a pink book. So maybe I'm okay with DNFing. At first, I was not a girl who wanted to DNF. I was like, you got to read the whole book. You could give it your chance. You got it. You picked it up, kind of thing. Now, listen, I've learned to DNF. And if it's not working, it's not working, and that is totally okay. DNFing is okay, I promise you. Let us get into this pool. Oh, I have a green one. This is it though, Immortal Dark. Hey, that's fitting for the season. And it's a chunk. You know what? I'm gonna read Immortal Dark. So that's gonna be my book, my first book of the week. Hopefully not my last.
I've read a few pages of this book and I can kind of give the gist of what I think's going on for the most part. First of all, I will say, beautiful, just like edition. I think I got this at Target when it first came out. I don't know, it's been a while. But like, this is beautiful, and then like, there's just like a map in this that I'm a sucker for a map. But this is just like, wow, you put in the work for this, and like, good for you. I think it's beautiful. The like page, the chapter ones is very unique. It's got like a little Victorian architecture. There's like little things of like when notes enter in.
I love that about this. Just makes the edition just special. I don't know if this is in every edition or if it's just in this one, but I really enjoy that. But for the most part, what I can think of what this book's gonna be about, because I've read, I think, only like 20 something pages. Basically, in this world, there's something called the First Bind. And apparently this First Bind like forces vampires to feed only on specific families. Oh, by the way, there's vampires in this book. It's like a vampire-y book. And it just, lo and behold, that Kidian, our main character, her family is one of those like 80 families that vampires can feed on. And there's like arcane stuff too. I haven't really figured out the whole, because I'm only 20 pages in, but for the most part, this is what I've learned. The main sister, Kidian, and her sister June escaped this kind of world of vampires feeding on family thing by their aunt, and they live in like, I guess the normal like human world, I think. And this was after their parents died, so they're orphans. Oh, tragic stories. Just, they always start with the orphans, don't they? Her sister June went missing, and Kidian is so caught up that it is definitely their family. Each family gets like assigned a vampire, and she is like, it is this vampire, I know for sure. How does she know for sure? Well, her sister left like videos of her talking about things before she died, and her greatest fear was vampires, and that they were going to come and eventually come and like get her and her family, because that's what happened to the rest of her family. Also, apparently Kidian also murdered someone to get information out of them, and they definitely did say the vampire's name, which is, I'm gonna butcher this, by the way, Sunios Sagadad, something like that. That's their vampire's name. Anyway, she apparently murdered someone, so now she is, you know, accused, and she's got a trial awaiting her for murder, and that is in 8 months. But she is prepared that she's gonna die in 8 months before that. She's like, nope, I'm done living in this world. The vampires aren't gonna get me. Well, we wouldn't have a book if that happened. So apparently there's a university called Ulaxley University. It's an arcana kind of university. It's where humans and vampires are supposed to be coexisting, and it's all about trying to change from them being like feared into them just liking each other. And the dean ends up visiting Kidian, and she's like, hey, by the way, your aunt's dead, so you and your sister are the only like people left in the Adane family. And the sister's like, oh, my aunt's dead, and now it's only me and my sister's missing, so lovely. He's like, yeah, I brought the will, could you sign off on it? And she's like, what are we getting? And she's like, oh, actually everything's entrusted to your vampire. Kidian's like, whoa, how can my family do that? Like, he must have like, you know, forced them. And the dean's like, no, they gave it to him willingly, like they want him. And she's like, isn't that weird that your whole family trusts this vampire and not you or your sister? And she's like, oh, so the only way that the sisters or her can inherit their family stuff is if she attends this university and goes for a course of how humans and vampires coexist. And while she's doing that, she's having to stay at this house, which, by the way, their vampire is staying there too at the same time. So I'm sure there's gonna be some tussles. He's probably gonna be upset at her, and she's already pissed off at him. Like, she is out for his blood, as she's already murdered someone. So this girl, she's crazy, and she'll do anything to get her sister back. So love that for her. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I am enthralled. It seems like a pretty quick read. I know it's like 400 something pages, but it just, the way the chapters are formatted, they're just like very short. It just kind of feels like you're breezing past this.
Okay, Twilight reference, I see you.
I think we're about to meet the vampire who this girly pop's gonna be feuding with for the rest of the book. It says, this man is walking by, she goes to call for help for a bird that's, his wings broken. And she's like, hey, can you help me? And he's like, no, but he has a book. Let me tell you what this book looks like. The book in his hand featured a bleeding sliced grapefruit on its cover. Is this man reading Midnight Sun? Is he reading Edward's point of view on Twilight? The Twilight references are going hard right now. This is, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's funny. I like that, that's funny.
Update, it is currently Tuesday evening, and I have read about
maybe 70% of this book. I don't know. I am eating this up. I allotted my time like an hour, maybe 2 hours to read this today, and I definitely read over that because I have things to do. But this is just so gripping. Like, I am like, what's gonna happen next? The chapters are kind of short, and so like I read one and I'm like, well, I have to figure out what's going to the next one. So I read like another short chapter, and then you just keep going and going and going, and I am just like, whoa. Also, the book was not Midnight Sun, but I like to think that this like scary, like mysterious vampire is reading Midnight Sun. And he's just like, I have to learn love from Edward Cullen. But in fact, it is a romance book, but it's a violent romance book. So I will say the relationship between the main character and the vampire main character. When I say enemies to lovers, I mean like, I wouldn't even say lovers. Like, they are just straight up enemies to each other. I mean, eventually they kind of have to work together, but for the most part, I mean, like, they are after each other. They are harming each other. They are like accusing each other of these like violent things, pulling pranks on each other, like violent pranks on each other. So if you want some like actual like two characters just like absolutely going after each other, like, yes, this is for you. And I mean, one's a vampire, and it's just like, yeah, I'm eating this up. I know there's a second book coming out soon, and it's like I kind of want to read that. Depending how this one ends, it's like I kind of want to read that one after this.
It is Wednesday morning, and I did end up finishing Immortal Dark like last night / this morning. I 5 stars, 5 stars. She reimagined vampires. Like, if you're looking for a vampire book, but you're like sick of all of like the same, like, everyone sometimes repeats the vampire stuff. This is different, and it's great. It's new. It brings in African culture. She puts in her Ethiopian like culture and myths in here, so you're also learning at the same time. It's great. I loved it. The back and forth. Usually when it comes to characters, especially with the enemies to lovers thing, I hate the back and forth where it's like, oh, I like you, but no, I don't, blah, blah. It works in this book. I don't explain it, but it does. It just works. Their relationship, when I tell you enemies, I mean, like, they are after each other for most of this book. Even when they do end up kind of liking each other or caring for each other, they're still going after each other. So like I just, wow. For her debut novel, she comes out with this. Queen, I can't wait to see what you're putting out later, because this is I'm so excited that the next book comes out in November, because I'm probably gonna pick it up and I'm probably gonna devour it. I will say the only reason I didn't read this when I bought this, it really gave that it was gonna be like very dark, like a ninth house kind of dark. And at the time, I just wasn't ready for that. But let me tell you, honestly, it's not as dark as I thought it was. This book still has a lot of dark themes and that happen in it, and there definitely is a lot of violence. But it's a YA, so it can't be too violent. But honestly, I just, wow, I ate this up. I love it. If you need a good like vampire, like, just, I don't know, you just got to read it. It's so good. So I'm kind of sad that I'm finished with it. I kind of want more, because it ended on such like a, not a cliffhanger, but like, what's gonna happen next? I need to know. I need to know what's going on. So I can't wait. November 4th, I am picking up the second book, and I'm sure it's gonna look just as beautiful. Usually, I don't really care about like sprayed edges and like cool copies unless it's something that I truly love. But like this, stunning, absolutely stunning. Just great work. Everyone who worked on this book, absolutely a great work. Amazing. 10 out of 10, will read again. That being said, since we have finished this, we need to move on to a next book. And I think I'm going to pull two, because I'm not going to be here for the rest of the week. And just in case if I finish a book, which probably not likely, but just in case if I do, I'll have a second book for backup. I also have a lot of ebooks, so I might also be reading those at the same time, which I know I shouldn't, but like, I gotta keep on track. But what I'm thinking is, I did just read a green one, and I'm probably gonna read either a blue or pink one just to even it out, because maybe I'll be like, oh, I'm DNFing this one and move on to the next one. We'll see. But let's pick. Oh, a blue one just shot out. I guess we're picking that one. Let's see. Oh, two blue ones. Let's see. Bright Young Women. And our next one, Grimoire of Grave Fates. Oh, it's not that I don't want to read this one. It's just it's a chunk. It's a chunk. I've been reading such chunky books. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. We'll look and we'll talk about them.
Here are the two books. The first book I pulled was Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, which I'm pretty sure there is a serial killer on the loose, or he like went into jail and he came out and started killing more people. And two of the girls who, like, I don't know, survive his massacre or something like that start telling their story or something like that. I think this is what this book is about, if I remember correctly. I bought it a while ago, but this is like 330 pages, so maybe we can breeze through this. We'll see. I haven't read in cars in a while, so I'm worried that I might get a little car sick, but we'll see how this goes. Now, this book I'm a little nervy about. She's kind of a bit of a chunk, but honestly, I think it's pretty big, and like I think this is the same amount of pages that I had for that one, and I think I breezed past that one. This is The Grimoire of Grave Fates. It follows the prestigious academy called the Galileo Academy, where these like young sorcerers go to, I guess, learn about magic and their magic and how to control their stuff. And one of the professors, who's like a grumpy professor, he ends up like dead, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what happened to him?" So the students take it into their hands and be like, "We're gonna solve his murder. We're gonna Scooby-Doo this." But what's cool about this book is that if you look in the back, you see all these this chunk of things. That's 18 different authors. So every single like chapter and like perspective from a different student, there's 18 students, is from a different author, which I think is pretty cool. The writing style is going to change. So if anyone's commenting, it's like, this isn't cohesive, they don't blend in, none of the characters, blah blah, it's because there's 18 different people writing this. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't know how to tell you. I'm excited about this. I think this is also going to be a breeze. So I will say these are two blue ones, so things that I've been meaning to read, just haven't got to, and like wasn't like too crazy about reading currently, but they're kind of fall vibes, which I'm here for. But that means next time I'm definitely gonna have to pull a pink one, because they're gonna start piling up, and I just don't think I can. Look at that big chunk. No, that needs to go. We need to start getting through the pink ones. It's all fun and games. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying my books, but like we need to start weeding them out for sure. So
Okay, we have a weekend update. We did finish Bright Young Women. We were in the car for like 22 hours this weekend, so I found out I cannot read physical books while on the road because the bumps are too much for me, but I can read ebooks. So I was a little audiobook reader to my fiance while he was driving, and we ended up reading like most of this in the car, and then we came home yesterday and finished it. And you know, I gave this like 4.5 stars. It's a really good read. I remember hearing about this when it first came out, and when I was working at the library, a lot of my coworkers started reading this and said it was really good, so I did end up buying it. I've totally forgot that it's like basically a fictitious kind of retelling of some of the girls, the victims of Ted Bundy. Really good. It follows two girls actually. It follows a lot of women. If you want a women-centered book, this is it for you, because the women are womening in this. It takes you on a span. It goes from, you know, past, present, future, kind of like writing. But also one girl who is in college, and she ends up being a survivor of one of the serial killer's murders, and ends up murdering her best friend in her sorority. If you know Ted Bundy, this is what he did in Florida. It's like the same exact thing. And you follow her journey through trying to find the killer, and going to law school, and the trial, and all her grief and trauma from that. And then also you follow another woman named Ruth, who is one of the serial killer's victims, and you follow, I want to say, about like half a year of her life before she ends up getting killed by this man. Really just, I mean, there is representation in this book. It's set in like the 70s, but mostly you stay in the 70s. You kind of skip into like current time, but mostly it's in the 70s, and it's got lesbians in it. It shows how culture just didn't accept them back in the day, nor sometimes do they accept them even still to this day. So, I mean, a really good read, and it's kind of, I mean, it's like 300 and something pages. It's shorter. It breezes by. It's great. I love the different POVs. I love connecting everything together and showing how, you know, back in the day, and even still today. A lot of our legal people tend not to do the job, and it really shows how back in the day when the election came up and they needed something big happen, they would just accuse the person that was the easiest. So it really shows all of the like intricacies and the faults of the system in this book, and I think that's you know, shed some light on it. Show people, if you don't know about that, you can see it in this book, and I love it. This is a really, really good book. So if you need a nice, it's kind of like, it's basically true crime. So if you're into the true crime girly podcast, this is for you if you haven't read it yet. I mean, you've probably heard about it, so you should pick it up and read it. That being said, I didn't really get to read that much this weekend other than in the car, but I did just start this book. So maybe if I push through, I could finish it today, since it is kind of, if you ever read Good Girl's Guide to Murder, how they have like the inserts in the book where it's like an email or a letter or a text message thing. This is also in this book, so it's kind of an easier read. So maybe I'll finish this by today, hopefully, because it is week 3 and I think I'm behind a book, but that's okay. We're gonna get through it. I've been reading some NetGalley books too, so it's not like I've not been reading, it's just I've been reading my physical books recently. Update, it's Monday afternoon and I've read I've read a little bit more of this book, and I'm currently just not vibing with it. It's not that there's nothing wrong with it, maybe it's not the right book at the right time for me right now. That being said, I am going to DNF this and move on to another book. I'm probably gonna either like just donate this to like a little free library or my library or someone like that, because maybe someone else will want this book more than I do right now. We are going to pull. I think I'm gonna go for a pink because I've had blues and greens, so this is the first pink that was on top. So let's see. A little nervous. My year of rest and relaxation. Oh no. Okay, we can get through that. That's no problem. We can get through that. This is a book that I got whenever I was working at the library. People would donate books and we would sift through them and figure out like, oh, do you want this kind of book? And you know, if I liked them and I read them, I would donate them back to the library and everything like that. So this was just one of the books that I just never got to. So maybe if it's an okay read, I'm going to go back and donate it to a new library that I'm living next to. But I know this is a very like just like literary fiction kind of book about a woman. I think she's a young woman. She's like just graduated like college, I'm pretty sure. And she's like living it up. She lives in a nice city. She's got a good boyfriend. I would say good boyfriend, but like, you know, she's got a boyfriend. She's got everything's paid for because of her inheritance because her parents died and everything like that. But I think she goes through a year of just kind of alienating herself. Gets some like help, psychiatry help and stuff like that. And it's kind of her journey through this. And it's supposed to be like a funny fiction writing kind of thing. I'm not really wanting that right now. So I think that's why that's been in the pink slips, because it's one of these books that you really just have to be in the mood to like want to pick up and read, because this isn't like my main genre that I tend to read from. But maybe it's the right time. I don't know. We'll see if I can get into this. If I get like 50 to 100 pages in and I'm not vibing with this will also be going to the donation pile. So hello, happy Wednesday morning. Happy first day of October. I'm so excited. I didn't give an update yesterday. I had a pretty busy day yesterday, but I did technically read. I got these like wooden kind of like boxes from Michael's that have like little houses and like Halloween things that I started to paint yesterday afternoon, like late afternoon. I didn't get to finish it though because I had other things to do, but I have these two things done. But it lights up. Isn't this so cute? Oh, you can't really see because it's daylight, but there is a green light in there. I will, when I get done finished painting these and putting these where I want them to go, I will do that. That being said, when I was painting this, I did end up getting the audiobook for this through my library, and I was listening to this. So we are now almost halfway through. We're on page 128. You know, it's an interesting read. It's not one of my favorites, but I'm here for the ride. It's just kind of like, you know, if you and your friends send each other like voice memos or like
you know, Snapchat stories back in the day of just like ranting. This is kind of what this girl's doing. So honestly, she's just kind of like my little ranty friend in my ear while I'm painting. So I'm enjoying it. It's a little cuckoo crazy at times though. I will say the way she be thinking, and I'm like, oh girl, maybe you do just need some rest and relaxation. I will say, after you have some bad days, sometimes you're like, okay, I understand why she wants to sleep all the time. That's kind of her thing. She's just kind of done with the world. She's done with people, and she just wants to sleep for like a year and not be bothered and not have to deal with anything, not go to work, nothing. So she's like getting all these pills through this. I'm pretty sure this person is not actually a therapist or psychiatrist. And she's just down in them. And she's just, you know, she's having some trippy moments. She's started to like sleepwalk because all of her pills, she's taken so many that they all have different side effects and things that they're just kind of making her go a little cuckoo during the night. And she's like buying things and doing weird things online. And, you know, it's interesting to see. I'm not sure if we're going for a downfall or if we're getting better. I don't think we're getting better. But I'm not sure if this is her downfall or if she's going to learn from this. So not bad, just enjoying it. But I am ready, since it is October, to start reading some of my spooky books that are on my TBR, because I mean, who doesn't want to vibe read? Vibe reading is the way to go. You can always read what you want to read, but like vibe reading, I feel like that's how you really enjoy books, is you're like, I'm in the mood for this. So let's start painting, because I have like 4 more of these to paint, and let's just have a good time. Let's just get into our reading. Let's update. We are halfway through Wednesday, and we have finished my year in rest and relaxation. I think I need some rest and relaxation. This book was fine. It was fine. This typically isn't the genre that I go for, but I really liked the cover, and I was like, oh, it's supposed to be like a funny, satirical kind of thing. And did I think it was funny? No, not really. I got some chuckles. There were some chuckles out of this book. But I don't think it was, you know, hilarious what some of these reviews say. This is just a woman who is dealing with depression and grief, and she just wants to sleep, it's valid, and it's how you deal with it, and how she has this sleep and she wakes up and she feels like she's seeing a different life, which I love that for her. This book, I didn't like want this to end. It's a very quick read, and I did the audiobook and it reads like really quickly. Like I was like, wow, we're already like, you know, done with this. If you do read this book, do the audiobook, because the woman who reads this is like, she's like, I'm like, get it, girl. She's so very, very good, very good. I will say this is kind of a spoiler, so if you really don't want to spoil it, you just like, but it's, you know, if you are a Robert Pattinson fan, you're a Twilight girly, you've watched some of Robert's work, if you watched Remember Me, this is kind of what that book is a little bit. Just a smidge bit. It's like a subplot, but just in the back of your head, just know. Just know. Because in that movie, I did not catch on until the last moment. This one, I caught on right away when they started mentioning some things, and I was like, no, oh, don't get attached. Because you know what's going to happen? You know, if you've seen the movie, you know. So, that being said, we're done with this, which, that's fine. One more book. I think I am going to be donating this, so I will add this to my donate pile. So it gives me more room on my shelves for me to add more books later on. But I will say, I'm going to pull, and I think I'm going to try to pull a green one, because I want a spooky read, and I think I've made most of my spooky reads green because I knew it would be coming up. So I'm going to get a spooky book. So just ignore the paint. I've been painting my stuff while I'm listening. I'm going to get a spooky book. Whether I pull it or not. So I'm going to keep pulling until I get a spooky book. So let's see. Get a green. This is not, I don't want to read that right now. It's Hellbent. I'm going to put Hellbent off until like the very end. So I just don't, I need like a spooky one, but I need kind of like I don't want that right now. So
Okay, atmosphere, not a spooky book. Not a spooky book. Hold on. We're gonna get one. I could just go up and pick one, but I think it's fun to letting this choose. Because I know if I go pick one and I don't like it, I'm gonna be like, why did I do that? So, hold on. Curl Prince. Not the spooky books. Did I even put them in the green? Did I lie to myself? Are they in the blue? Hold on. I'm just gonna speed this up because here we go. Clown in a Cornfield. That's our next read. I'm gonna read this and then I'm going to watch the movie. That's what I'm gonna plan on to do. So I'm excited about this. I read Influencer and that was really good. Scary, but good. Scary in like a psycho kind of way. Scary. It's like, oof, did not like that, the parallels to real life. So I just came out with a movie, and so I'm excited because I want to watch some spooky movies, and I'm glad that I can read this and then watch the movie and be annoying to my fiance because be like, that didn't happen in the book. Actually, yeah, I do that a lot. I'm one of those people. Oh well.
It is late Thursday night and I just finished Clown in a Cornfield. I'm gonna sit on this one and probably review it tomorrow morning, but I want to pull from my stack. Hopefully I get another spooky book. We'll see. Oh, I have two. We'll see how this goes. I got the Raven Boys, but I guess that's fine. I don't want to start a series. Technically, this book is also in a series. I didn't want to start a series, but we'll do the Raven Boys. It's Friday morning. I have slept. I have thought about this book. I actually kind of had a dream after I ended up finishing this book and going to bed, similar to like this book. But I'm here to talk about it because I feel like I was really enjoying this book until it got closer to the end, and I was like, it just kind of like fell flat in the nicest way possible. I am gonna watch the movie today because I love a good slasher. It's just, it wasn't a bad book at all, and I probably will read the next two books in this series, but basically it follows this girl who is from Philadelphia, and she ends up moving to this small, like, corn-based town in Missouri where, you know, it's very country. She lives now in front of a cornfield. Her dad is a doctor. Her mom ended up passing away recently. They moved here. He needed a break. She went with him. She's in her, I think she's a senior. In this town, there are a group of kids who are doing social media, and the adults have come to not like these kids because they're always pulling pranks. And so they hate these kids. They're like, you have no respect. We don't like you. Well, one of the leaders of this group, the year before our main character moves in, his sister ended up dying while they were like filming content. And so he doesn't really want to be a part of the content anymore, but his friend group is still like, we're doing social media. So she shows up. There's this weird clown called Friendo that's kind of like the mascot of this town, and he's very prominent in this book. So if you don't like clowns, no, it's kind of giving a mix of, like I said, like It and Children of the Corn. It mixes those two together and it blends really well. I was here for it. The setup, I just feel like the reasoning behind why people are doing what they're doing in this book needed a little bit more setup than just kind of like, because our character has only been here for 4 days and somehow she's like in the brunt of all of this and they just want to kill her too. And I'm like, the rhyme and reasoning for involving her in this and her dad, it didn't make sense to me. I understood wanting to get the other kids. Also, I kind of could guess who was doing all of this. I'm curious how they're going to do, how like there's gonna be a second and third book. I know kind of how they can do it because they kind of left it on like a of everything, but I don't know. I'm a little confused. I feel like this could have been much better than it was because I feel like it got rushed when the like killing started happening, and then it kind of dragged after a first killing kind of thing happened. And then it's kind of like, and then it just kept adding, and I was like, where, why? What are we doing? I'm confused. But not bad. Enjoy. I mean, I ate it up. It was a quick read. I was involved. I was invested. The characters are good. I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm sure it's gonna be a good movie. So yeah, not bad. But I wish it was a little bit slowed down in some parts or drawled out. And a little bit more, like, the reasoning why this main character is dragged into this just makes no sense. This poor girl, she just moved there. She does not, and involving her, like, strictly involving her with the main people of this group, she did not need to be involved at all. But, like, it just happenstance that she just gets involved. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Not my favorite, but it's fine. Also, one last thing about this book. The biggest twist for me was not the plot, was not the killer. No, it was this like relationship that got brought up at the very, very end of this book that I was like, whoa, did not see that coming. But I'm here for it, but did not see that coming. So I don't know what that says about this book, but that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. That being said, I pulled The Raven Boys from the Raven Cycle, the first book of the Raven Cycle, last night when I finished that book. And I was hesitant on wanting to read this book, not because of the book, but because I'm trying not to read series right now. Because when I read a series, if I like the book, I really want to continue reading the series. And with what I'm trying to do right now, that does not help me out because I only have the first book in this series physically. So that being said, this is a book that has been on my radar since I was a teenager. It was really big, and this was just not one of those series that I went to when I was a teenager. I was more obsessed with the City of Bones, which don't even get me started on that series. But lots of people are like, you really like this one. So I also didn't read, I think it's Linger or Shiver, whichever one of the other series of Maggie's. I didn't read that one either because I was just really not into the werewolves. I was a vampire girly. Werewolves were not my alley. I was Team Edward, Team Jacob. I did not even want to hear. I didn't get out of here. Sorry. But now, as an adult, I'm like, y'all are all bad. Y'all are all bad. And I'm here for Charlie because that poor man, what he went through in those series. Anyway, back to this book. Most of y'all probably have read this book and know what it's about. But if you haven't, it's basically this girl, her mom's clairvoyant, and she can see the dead, and our main character, I think her name is Blue. Blue cannot see these ghosts until one day she sees this boy who is a part of this academy, and they call them the Raven Boys, and it's a found family. The problem is that she's destined to like kill or cause her true love to die. So we all know the yearning's gonna be big in this one, for sure. Also, just a little, this cover, you know what it reminds me of? If any of y'all have seen The Lost Boys, this is what the cover reminds me of. I love that movie. That is one of my movies I watch every single time in October, if it's on anything, because it's such a campy vampire movie. I love it so much. I think I'm gonna read the audiobook for the first start because I have one more little house to paint. I've painted everything else, but I have one more left. So I'm probably gonna read the audiobook, or listen to the audiobook while I'm painting that. And then I'll get into reading the book. Hopefully I can get this done and read one more this week because I am on a roll and I don't want to slow down. Okay, it is Saturday afternoon and I have finished The Raven Boys. And I also read the graphic novel that goes with this book that just came out recently. I have mixed feelings about this book. Everyone has kind of like hyped this series up for me, and I just, maybe when I was younger I might have liked this, but now it was fine. I didn't really like any of the characters except for one. Also, I'm not a big paranormal person, and this book is very like ghost, spirit, paranormal focus, which is really weird because I love watching that kind of stuff, but reading it, I'm just like, meh. So it wasn't a bad book. It's not my favorite. I probably won't continue reading this series unless it's through the graphic novels, because those are like really easy to pick up and read. But I didn't really care. I was like looking for the found family, and like the boys have the found family, but it just wasn't like, I just wasn't connected to any of the characters, nor was I like the whole, I don't know, finding out some stuff and like learning what the plot of this book is. I was like, eh. And the fact that this is the first book and it sets up so much stuff for like later books in the series kind of is annoying. I think every single book should have its own kind of progression, and I feel like this was setting up for a lot of the books in the series like in the future, which I was just a little perturbed about, because I wanted this book to be more than it was. It was fine, but I don't know. I won't be probably reading more of this. This is probably going to go in my donate pile, but I know other people really love the series, and it's fine. I don't mind it. Maybe if I kept reading, maybe I'd get more involved, but I feel like that's what the first book is supposed to do. The first book is supposed to draw you in and want you to like make you read all the rest of the books. And it just didn't do that for me. But that being said, I think we've read 4 books, 5 technically if you count the graphic novel this week. So I'm making up for the lost books I haven't read in the past week. So, but it is time to pull another one. Oh, we have a pink one. Let's see. Oh, we have 2. That's okay. I'll do this one. If I can get this one open. Pink ones are nice because they might be DNFs, so we might be able to move on. Valentine. Let me go get that book and figure out what this book's about. This is the book. It's Valentine by Elizabeth Wetmore. I picked up this book beginning of this year at a library book sale, and I just feel like it's going to be a DNF now because it's just not the kind of book that I would read now. Months ago, possibly I could have been into it. Now I just don't think that I'm really going to dive deep into this, and this is not going to pique my interest, so this probably will be a DNF. Nothing against this book or this author or this writer, it's just probably something that I just don't want to read anymore. In my era, I was like, yeehaw, rodeo season in Texas. Let's start reading some Western-based Texas books. The rodeo's over. I don't really want to read about, Odessa, Texas is very beautiful though. So it's about empowering women, and after a brutal thing happens to some of the women in this village and how the oil-bearing city kind of treats the women and stuff like that, which sounds inspiring, sounds great, but I just don't think this is what I want to be reading right now. So we'll see. We'll try to start reading it. Okay, the attempt has been made to read this book, and I'm just not vibing with it. It's just not what I want to read right now. I just can't get into this, so I am going to be DNFing this. So we'll move back to the jar. Something spooky, please. Okay, we got a blue. Promising. Book of Night. Okay, a Dark Academia. Love that. That's great. Awesome.
We have completed 3 weeks out of the 15 weeks of trying to read 40 books for my physical TBR, and I will say we are on the right track, okay? Technically, I have read 7 books for my TBR in the past 3 weeks, and I've DNF'd 2. So that being said, I have read 9 books. 9 books, 3 books a week, that's on track. I have to read at least 3 books a week to get to 40 books. So we were on track, and I'm happy. I just pulled the other day for my, I guess this will be my 8th book reading, is the Book of Night, and I'll probably talk more on this in my next video. I'm trying to split this into 5 videos for this whole challenge for 3 weeks each, because there's probably gonna be a lot of content, and longer videos are good, but we don't want them too long. So that being said, I'm capping off my first 3 weeks of this challenge. I'm pretty happy. We had some really good reads, I will say, some 5 stars, some not so 5 stars, some DNFs that I just wasn't in the mood to read, and that's okay. I'm hoping I can stay on track. I will say one thing,
I have not been an audiobook person. I get too distracted and I don't like remember things and I forget things and it's too much. But I read with audiobooks about a few of these and that was a game changer for me. I was like getting them done in like a day because I was like 2x speed, put that audiobook on. And occasionally I'd read with it, but for the most part I was doing other things, which is like, wow. So audiobooks, I now know how I have to read them instead of just, because I would read audiobooks and then I would fall asleep or I'd get distracted and I would have to like rewind. So that was not helping me in my reading case. So anyway, thanks for coming along this journey and let's get on to week 4.